So welcome to this training on the simple, scalable, 5-step system that will get you to 40K per month in the next 90 days or less, and then to 100K per month and beyond. Guys, I promise you, if you sit and watch this training till the very end, it will be the most valuable 1.5 hours that you spend on your business this year. I can near enough guarantee it, right? Because it's not gonna be some like airy-fairy training where it's like, you know, just me sat here talking about for 30 minutes who I am, my accolades, and how amazing, like, you know, scaleclients.io is, or anything like that. It is specifically exactly the 5-step system that you ought to implement in order to go from 0 to 40K a month, and then the same system to use to go from 40K a month to 100K a month, which is step 5 down here. Right, as you can see, we start to go into the more specifics on scaling to 100K a month and beyond. Okay, so just as a very quick background, my name is Kai Bax. I'm the founder of scaleclients.io. We currently have over 800 customers at the point of recording this, and we do exactly this for our customers. We help them get to, you know, 40, 50K a month, right? And then from there, we implement a separate set of systems to help them go from 40, 50K a month to 100K a month and beyond in the scaleclients.io mastermind. Okay, now if you want to know a little bit more about me and kind of how scaleclients.io can actually help you, just go ahead, add me up on Instagram. Okay, it is @itskaibax. You can find me on YouTube, right? Kaibax. Or you can join our free Facebook group. Now you can see we currently got 80 member requests that we still need to approve. We do have a very strict qualification process to let people inside this group, because as you can see, it is not like a normal group. Okay, we have extremely valuable training inside of here. This asset that you can see in this video is one that I actually pulled directly out of the scaleclients.io flagship program. So it's very useful, very valuable. And as I say, you can go ahead and request to join the Scale Clients community on Facebook. Currently we have 1,000 members, okay? But let me just dive straight in, okay? The simple, scalable, 5-step system that will get you to 40K per month in the next 90 days or less, and then to 100K a month and beyond. This is a thesis that I wrote, as I say, for scaleclients.io. Now, if you want to just go straight to the source, you want that secret sauce, you want to just instantly, in the next 90 days or less, literally go from 0 to 40K a month, 40K a month to 100K a month and beyond, just go ahead, book in a call, okay? You'll actually be able to find this asset as well right below this video. But go ahead, book in a call, jump on a call with my team, and we'll go through and see how we can get you to 40K a month and then 100K a month, what the best next steps are, what really the next, what the roadmap should be, right, for you moving forward in order to hit 100K a month in your business, okay? But with that being said, let me jump into the training, okay? Here's the 5 steps. This is a broad overview, and then we're gonna dive deep into each specific step moving forward. So as a broad overview, step 1, we need to find product market fit. Step 2, build client acquisition assets, okay? Step 3, flood calendar with qualified book calls. Step 4, we wanna scale the sales system with an inside sales team. And then step 5, we want to productize the business, primarily the mechanism, and we want to scale to 100K per month by increasing traffic and building a team, okay? So let's jump straight into it. Step 1, find product market fit. First thing we need to do when it comes to finding product market fit is we need to identify a niche / a market and their threat level 1 issue. So typically the niche that's best suited to you is the one where you have most experience / you've been there, done that, right? / you have the most skills or expertise. So whatever niche you currently have the most skills or expertise, you have the most experience, or you've been there, done that, that's typically the best niche for you. And what this refers to is really the previous transformations that you've made, right? Identifying niches and markets and their threat level 1 issues requires you to have a deep understanding of that particular market. And if you either was that niche, right? So, you know, if you think back along your journey so far and identify transformations you've previously made, right? Typically the transformations you've already made are ones that thousands of others want to make as well. And this can be a great niche for you to go after because you know that niche and that market are like the back of your hand, right? Same thing if you are that niche, right? So for example, if you're a real estate agent, you know what agents' biggest issues and their most painful problems are, right? And if you've solved that problem for yourself, right? Whatever the big issue that agents struggle with, if you've solved that problem for yourself as an estate agent, well, building a new biz around helping other real estate agents solve that same problem using your solution, mechanism, or the deliverables that you created for yourself as a solution, right? Helping other estate agents with that problem by providing them the solution that you built, that'll crush. And that'll be your most effective niche, right? Or another really good market is if you have a high amount of experience in that niche, or you obtain a high amount of skills / expertise, right? That other people want access to. You instantly have an advantage over the competition, right? You'll know that niche like the back of your hand. You'll know what triggers them, what they resonate with, what they want to see and what they don't want to see, and what they want to hear and what they don't want to hear, what repels them, what attracts them. You'll know all of that stuff because you are that niche, right? So that is typically the best niche for you to go after. Now, you want to use the below diagram to ensure that you provide a solution to all variables required in the equation to ensure that your niche achieves their desired transformation. So this is the equation, right? Typically, in order for a desired transformation to be achieved, there is a myriad of variables, whether there's one variable or 10 variables, there's a number of variables in the equation that need to add up. And if the variables in the equation add up, typically the desired transformation will be achieved. It's as simple as that. And so what you want to do is you want to identify, I don't know if you can see that, you want to identify which variables must be evident in the equation in order for the outcome to be equaled. And so from there, once you've identified them, you either want to solve for all variables or you solve for a percentage of them, so a certain number of them, and you qualify for the remaining. So for example, one of our Apex Acquisition clients, Apex Acquisitions is one of our agencies, okay? And basically we help service-based businesses book in more qualified calls each and every month and obviously ultimately sign clients. Now, for example, one of our Apex Acquisition clients helps real estate agents close more deals. However, what he did is he took this equation and he applied it to his deliverables. He looked at the variables in the specific equation, right, for his ideal client and realized not only does he need to help his clients generate more leads, he also needs to ensure those leads are highly qualified. Otherwise, they won't turn into cash collected for his clients. So now his deliverables are generating leads and pre-qualifying them, right? And then he gets them to book in a call directly into his client's calendar. So you want to solve for all variables in the equation. This is how you make a ridiculously powerful and irresistible offer. And it's also how you can predictably deliver the desired transformation for your clients consistently and reliably, right? If you control all variables in the equation, you're naturally going to control the outcome of that equation. And the outcome in this case is desired transformation. And ultimately, that is what your niche, that is what your clients are going to be paying you for, right? To deliver the desired transformation that you're promising, right? Now, if you can't deliver a particular niche, if you can't identify a particular niche and their threat level 1 issues based on previous transformations you've made or your experience or your skills and expertise, etc., right? Maybe you don't have too much experience, you don't have too much past skills, expertise, whatever it may be. Well, then the next best step is to either conduct research into industries that you're familiar with / are passionate about, right? And use this above diagram / guide to use the above diagram to guide your identification process, right? So dig deep into, as I say, niches, industries, whatever it may be that you're familiar or passionate about, and use this to understand, first of all, what the desired transformation is that niche wants to achieve, and then understand what the variables are in the equation to make that desired transformation become a reality, right? And then, as I say here, you want to solve for all variables or a percentage of the variables and qualify for the remaining. Speak with people in said industries and understand where their pain points lie, right? Conduct research, right? Understand where their pain points lie and why they are struggling to achieve the specific desired transformation, right? If you don't know what the desired transformation is, just ask, right? This is what we're researching, right? And you can also jump on calls with these people in the market and to get an even deeper understanding of their current and desired situations. So step 2 is to validate the problem by signing 2 to 5 beta clients, right? You always want to sell before you build. You always want to validate that the solution, that the problem that you're providing a solution to is one that your niche is willing to pay for. Do not build anything before you've validated the problem. So once you've identified a niche that and their threat level 1 issue, you now need to go to market and sign 2 to 5 beta clients, okay? Never build your mechanism before you've validated the problem. We validate the problem by collecting cash in hand from our niche. This proves that the problem you're providing a solution to is one that your niche is willing to pay for, right? Paying money for a problem to be solved is very different than simply saying it's a problem you want to be solved. Very, very, very important, right? Now, logistics of a beta client. Number 1, it's a massive discount, not free. So a beta client, you typically will sign them on board at a discounted rate, right? You're not going to charge the full price that you could charge for that offer, right? You want to sign them on for a massive discount, but you don't want to sign them on for free. The reason we want to sign sign a beta client is so that, number one, we can build a proof of concept around our deliverables and our mechanism, which we're going to get onto here in a minute. But number two, more importantly, we want to sign a beta client to ensure the problem we're fixing is one that our niche it will happily pay real money for. And so signing a client for free in this case would be highly counterintuitive, right? Very, very important point. Okay, next is the client promises to provide a case study at the end of the contracted period, right? If the result was met, right? So it's like, look, you're gonna get on board for a very, very big discount, but you need to promise that you'll provide me a case study if we achieve your desired transformation, if we deliver the desired transformation that you're paying us for, right? And also, client promises to be ruthlessly honest with you in regards to their feedback and thoughts. Okay, so how do you go about signing beta clients? Well, it's super simple, right? You want to sign beta clients through outbound mediums, typically email, Facebook, LinkedIn, right? Don't build anything as of yet, including an audience. Simply conduct outbound prospecting and test the market, test your offer, see if it's hitting, see if it's resonating, and try and sign your 2 to 5 beta clients. And if you do, then you've validated the problem. And at that point, we can move on to step 3, which is find a mechanism and build a proof of concept. So you've signed 2 to 5 beta clients and you've validated the problem you're solving to be one that your niche is willing to pay for. Now, we need to build a proof of concept around delivering the desired result. In an agency or coaching business, when it comes to initially building the proof of concept that consistently and reliably delivers your niche transformation, always start off with a highly integrated approach. Meaning, don't hire a head coach right off the bat. Don't try and systemize your delivery so that it's more hands-off for you. Don't try and automate anything as of yet, right? None of that matters if the desired transformation isn't being met or isn't delivered at the end of the contract, okay? So be more hands-on, go the extra step, even if it's outside of the contract to ensure results. So think variables in the equation here, right? So go back up here. If you really, in your main offer, only wanna offer X and Y, right? But if in the beta stage, you know that if you just deliver Z as well, the desired transformation is gonna be met, just go the extra mile, just deliver it, be more hands-on, right? Go the extra step. And also, typically when you're starting, start with a done for you offer, right? Because at the end of the day, if you can't deliver the desired transformation by virtue of a done for you format, there's no way that you're going to be able to deliver that same desired transformation in a more hands-off, done with you or do it yourself format. It's just not going to happen, right? So you need to, as I say, validate with done for you, and then from there we can start to automate, streamline our offer and stuff like that, right? So deliver desired transformation and ask the following after it, right? Am I profitable end to end after delivery? Okay, so here we need to take into account that the client you signed wasn't at full price and that you went the extra mile to deliver the results. So maybe that cut into your profit margins a little bit more typically than it would if you signed a real full paying client and you delivered only what you're offering, right? So you got to take that into account. But with those things in mind, you need to ensure that you have a profitable model when you take into account client acquisition and delivery of transformation. Maybe you've delivered the desired transformation, but you're in the hole, right? You're in the red. If that's the point, if that's the case, you need to rework the model because it's not profitable. Okay. And then once you've asked that, you need to ask yourself: are the results at a point in which the client is happy to provide a testimonial? If the results delivered are meh, right? They're like meh, they're all right, right? It's not the best thing in the world. Either number one, you need to revise and refine your mechanism, and number two, you need to become more efficient and effective at delivering that mechanism. Okay, so revise and refine the mechanism if the answers to the above questions are negative, right? Keep executing on this loop of craft mechanism, deliver desired transformation, revise and refine, right? Keep implementing on this loop until the answers to those questions become positive, right? Do not move forward until the above is positive and a case study is collected. There's no point moving forward until the answers to these questions are positive and you've collected a case study, okay? Client results are the foundation to how successful your business will be. If you cannot implement on this step, none of the rest of remaining of this doc is going to be useful for you because you can't deliver client results. And client results is the number one key to being able to scale your business. Hands down, nothing else even comes close to it, right? So implement on this, and then once it's positive, then from there, you can move on to step 4, which is productize proven mechanism by creating SOP. So once you've built your proof of concept surrounding your mechanism and you can consistently and reliably deliver your niche's desired transformation, you now and only now want to productize and standardize the delivery process. People get the order mixed up, right? They focus on having a highly efficient deliverable before they've proven it to work beyond a reasonable doubt, right? So what they often then are left with is an extremely efficient mechanism that doesn't produce results, which is useless. right? Again, results, client results, customer results is the number one most important metric to track and deliver on in your business. And so if you have a highly efficient mechanism, but it doesn't produce results, it is useless, okay? So typically, the most effective way to standardize your delivery is to retrace your steps and map every action took from start to finish, and finish being successfully delivered the desired transformation, right? Okay, so place each step of the process into an SOP format and continually refine and re-optimize your procedure based on your updated methods that will inevitably occur, right? This massively helps predictably repeat the same outcome for your new clients, and it's the most effective way to ramp new team members in the shortest time frame possible. Okay. Now, step 2, build client acquisition assets. Number 1 is an organic audience. So things like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Okay. The number 1 way to start and scale quickly is to build an organic audience on Facebook and cross-pollinate with Instagram and YouTube, right? You can go straight for the jugular on Facebook, which is why I like it so much, right? The only other place that you can go straight for the jugular, meaning going directly to your niche, directly to your ideal client, the only other way to do it is either Facebook or paid ads, right? But when you start, you do not want to be starting with paid ads. You want to start with organic, and then you want to scale with paid ads, right? So as you build an audience, it becomes an asset that can produce clients literally daily just by leveraging it in the correct way, right? So when starting from either $0 or when starting to build your audience, implement the following, right? Find a paid program or product and identify the communities or the groups associated with that paid program or product in your niche, right? On Facebook. So typically, a lot of paid programs, a lot of info products, they will have an associated group on Facebook, and it's going to be private, and only people who've bought the paid program or the paid product are going to be able to get access to that Facebook group. So when you go inside the group, you know that all members have paid a certain amount of money to be in that group. And if they paid money in that niche, you know that they're an ideal client because they are deep in the niche. You don't pay money for a paid program or a paid product if you're not deep in that niche, right? And also, you know that they have money to spend because they've physically already spent money in that niche. It massively increases the quality of the members in that group. So you want to find those groups on Facebook. Don't join free groups because free groups are just filled with unqualified prospects, right? No matter what niche you're in, typically. Find the paid programs. Find the find the paid programs in your industry and find the paid groups associated with it and join it. You may need to join the program. Well, you will need to join the program, but just see it as an ad spend. But just see it as an investment, see it as ad spend, because I guarantee you, you're going to get a high return on that investment, okay? Then join 5 to 10 of those groups. Now demonstrate your domain expertise / authority through content posted in the group. Okay, so the most effective post, by the way, ensure all are in alignment with your offer / transformation you're selling. So most effective posts are transformation posts, story posts, huge wins, value content, useful insights, old way and new way, right? Old way versus new way, okay? And make sure all of these posts, they're aligned with the offer / transformation that you're selling. There's no point talking about something completely separate to what it is that you're selling, okay? Then go ahead and add as friends everyone who interacted with the post that you made in these groups. Add everyone in the group as well as a friend who has something in common and seems as though they're a good fit for your offer. And the goal here is to get to 5,000 friends, right? Who are all ideal clients, right? So on Facebook, you have a limit, 5,000 friends. You want to fill that friends list with ideal clients, because then we can start to, use that audience that we've built to then nurture and turn into a high-paying client eventually down the line, okay? So once you start to organically build your Facebook audience, you can also cross-pollinate your other platforms, right? So for example, Instagram, YouTube, etc., with your Facebook audience, right? So make valuable YouTube videos for your niche and share the link on Facebook. So you can, on Facebook to your 5,000 friends, who by the way are all ideal clients, you can then share your YouTube videos that you post on YouTube. That, hey, just created this end-to-end training on YouTube going through XYZ. Here's the link. Go ahead and watch. And that's going to then obviously cross-pollinate with YouTube, and it's going to build your YouTube audience up as well. And also, you'll start to grow organically on YouTube just by naturally posting. However, YouTube does have a much longer lead time than Facebook. Just something to keep in mind, okay? Also, create useful posts on Instagram and tag your Instagram account on your Facebook stories. And also, if you have budget, you can do influencer marketing to grow on Instagram. That is how currently we are growing around 1,000 followers a day at the moment, because I'm investing quite a bit of ad spend. So you can just see 17.2 before. Now we've just gone up to 17.4. Okay, you can see here, right? This is just continually growing, and it's by virtue of influencer marketing on Instagram. Okay, but it does require quite a bit of budget. I'm currently spending around $150 a day, $200 a day on ad spend with influencer marketing on Instagram. Okay, so next, once you've started to build your organic audience, you can then build a Facebook group, which again is built off the organic audience. Okay, so once you build a following on your socials, you want to funnel that traffic to a highly targeted Facebook group built specifically for people in your niche looking for help with the transformation that you're selling or offering. For example, here is our Facebook group. It's called the Scale Clients Community. I did show you this before, but again, I'll show you it again. This is our free Facebook group, and this has got 1,000 members, right? And it's filled with my ideal client, my ideal customer, right? So I can just make a post in here, and we'll easily be able to book 5 to 10 calls from that one post. And if it goes quite viral in the group, I'll be able to book probably 20, 30, 40 calls, right? And we'll easily be able to sign 1 to 3 clients consistently from every post. And it's just because I've built a highly targeted Facebook group that I built specifically for people in my niche looking for the help with the transformation that we're selling and offering, right? So taking a completely cold prospect and turning them into a high paying client requires a lot of energy. And typically in a normal sales process of initial touch point, follow up 1, follow up 2, follow up 3, pitch a call, there just isn't enough energy being exerted onto the prospect in order for them to convert into a high paying client. And this is usually the biggest issue that people face when it comes to converting prospects into clients. They just don't exert the required energy onto the prospect. And then they're wondering, why am I not signing clients? It's like, because you're not exerting the required energy to convert them, right? And so what we do with Facebook though, as I say here, whereas when you build a targeted Facebook group filled with your ideal prospects, you're able to nurture them every single day or every single week for a long period of time. And you have the ability to make as many touch points as necessary in order for the prospect to convert. And you'll notice that different prospects require different amounts of energy, and the Facebook group caters to everyone's needs. It doesn't matter how many touch points a specific prospect needs, because if they're in the Facebook group, they're eventually going to get it at some point, right? It's one of the most powerful assets for your appointment setters as well, as it's a one-stop shop filled with highly qualified and motivated ideal clients. So your appointment setters, if they're having a slow day, they can just go into your Facebook group and just drum up a bunch of new leads, and it's filled with highly qualified prospects. And most of the time, those prospects have been nurtured and they've probably received the required touch points that they personally need in order to convert. And so when your appointment setter hits them up, they'll convert. It's as simple as that, right? And by the way, just on this, qualified by virtue of your acceptance process for new members, right? So this is what I was saying before. We only accept qualified members, qualified prospects into our group, right? So that the entire group is truly filled with qualified prospects and not just a bunch of people who are never going to buy from us, right? So qualified by virtue of your acceptance process for new members, and motivated due to your content and nurture process. 80 to 90% of people in your Facebook group will eventually, in their own time, come to the realization, if your content and group system is good, right, that you are the best option for them to achieve their desired transformation, and that your offer is what makes the most sense for them moving forward. And as soon as somebody comes to that realization in their own mind, they are going to buy from you. And the way that you make your prospects come to that realization in their own mind is by virtue of content and nurturing them. Facebook group is perfect for this, right? By having such a powerful nurture system in place, not only will you book more calls, right? We're currently booking around 10 to 15 calls a day, right? But also those calls are far more likely to show up, and they're far more likely to convert, okay? The number one way to scale, right? And then from there, what we want to do is we want to craft a content schedule, right? So the key to building an audience that is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars to you, if not millions, right? For us and our audience, over the last 2 years, we've processed well over $2 million, right? So it's literally worth millions of dollars to us, right? The key to building an audience that is worth that type of money to you, and it's not just a flex to your buddies that you have more followers than them, right? Is this one word right here, which is nurture. Okay, the process of nurture can take someone from a completely cold prospect who is not interested in your service or business, the transformation you're selling, right? They're not interested in anything that you have going on, and turn them into a raving high paying client. The key to that is nurture. That's it. And if done effectively, you can do this at scale through paid advertising. And this is how we scaled past $250,000 a month. It's by nurturing our ideal prospects, our niche at scale through paid advertising. that is it. And we're going to get onto that further in this doc here in a minute, okay? Now, the key to nurturing effectively is consistent content that your niche is interested in. We don't sell what the prospect needs, we sell what they want, and we deliver what they need, right? This makes our content content that our niche is interested in, okay? And consistent content is key, right? Now, there's 3 types of content: value content and useful insights. So positioning yourself as the niche expert, domain authority, vertical expertise is the most important thing to ensuring that your audience sees you as the best person to go to in order to achieve their desired transformation, okay? Now, the way to ramp your authority and expertise is to push useful insights and value content, okay? Example, this doc right here that you're reading, you're not gonna find something much more valuable than this. This is a perfect example of value content and useful insights, right? Next is personal content. So showing my personal life is something I never used to do, as I thought value content drove 100% of sales. And while it drives the majority of sales, one thing I learned was that it doesn't drive 100% of them, right? Allowing your audience to connect with you on a personal level does a few things. Number 1, it builds a deeper level of trust, right? And rapport. And number 2, they feel like they know you and they'll resonate more with you, right? Think the know, like, and trust factor, okay? Now, example of this is just simply showing things behind the scenes, open up about your motivations. I oftentimes open up about my family and how much my family personally means to me. Like, I, currently paying a high amount of tax in Australia, which is where I'm currently based, and I'm physically not moving. I was going to move out to Dubai, 0% tax. I could save, multiple 6 figures per year in taxes, but I'm actively not making that move because I cannot leave my family, right? And I open up about this to my audience, and it enables them to connect with me on a far deeper level. And it's the truth, right? And also another really powerful type of content that you can do is action-based content. So you don't want to become the person who's always doing CTAs, call to actions, as it will weaken your audience and ironically lower the number of people who actually take action during the month. However, action-based content is something that people also often forget about, which is usually why they don't see a good number of book calls and clients signed each month. Although you may be positioned as the niche expert and your audience perceives you as the best option to learn from, 90% of them won't take action unless you ask them to, okay? So this is where action-based content comes into play. So for example, you can do content such as like DM me the word X to achieve desired transformation. And that's a type of action-based content that's going to generate a lot of leads for you to then nurture further in the DMs and then ultimately book in a call with them, right? And then obviously ultimately sign them as a client, okay? And also a content schedule to abide by is ideally you want to be doing 2 group posts per week, okay? And then you want to, and this is the Facebook group that you build, okay? And then you want to do 2 to 5 story posts per day, right? And you want to do 2 to 3 feed posts per week. And this is both on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, etc. Now, the final section to building client acquisition assets is to build value content, which is conversion mechanism. So again, oftentimes people wonder why they don't, why they're not able to convert prospects into clients at scale, right? Why can't I do this? And then I look at their process, and there's nothing in their process right now that is actually converting the prospect from a prospect to a client, right? They're just doing all of this random stuff and they expect that to convert them, but there's no conversion mechanisms. And conversion mechanisms, whether you guessed it or not, are the things that actually convert prospects into clients, right? They don't convert just magically themselves. You've got to convert them yourself. And the best way to do it is through conversion mechanisms. So value content can come in a myriad of different forms, okay? So it can be a 45-minute VSL, which is just a video sales letter. It can be a 15-minute VSL. It can be useful new insights. It can be written insights. So for example, here for my e-commerce agency, I used to run this like 60-minute VSL. Okay, you can see here it's like an hour and 2 minutes, and then there's this entire content page here. This entire thing is a conversion mechanism in conjunction with this hour VSL, right? You can do a shorter version of that, which I do for Apex acquisitions. So this one is only 16 minutes, I believe. But what this is it's a conversion mechanism, right? What it does is it converts a prospect into a eager to buy client, right? So you need these conversion mechanisms, otherwise you're not going to convert anyone. And historically, the highest converting value content structure that we found is number 1, highlight case studies / client results. Okay. Number 2, detail the 3 to 5 actions, inputs, steps, right? Whatever it is that those clients took in order to achieve the desired transformation, right? Which is the value section of the asset, right? And then invite the viewers to book in a demo if they'd like help achieving the same transformation in their own business or personal life or whatever it is that you're offering, right? This exact structure is what this doc right here that I'm going through, this exact structure is what this doc is built off of, right? We've proven that we get our customers results and that we have one of the highest success rates in the industry. And this doc details how our customers achieve the mind-numbing results that they do in their business, right? And it's also exactly how we've scaled to 200K per month ourselves, right? This doc is the system that we've implemented into our own business that has enabled us to scale to 200K plus per month, right? This type of value content is typically 30 to 45 minutes in length and is genuinely valuable. This is important. Make sure your content is genuinely valuable and not hollow value, right? Genuinely valuable to the audience. That's the key, okay? The idea behind this content is to not only prove your point beyond a reasonable doubt, right? The fact that you get results, but also to make the viewers, your prospects, think this was so useful. Imagine what it would be like to speak and potentially work with this person. And as soon as your prospects are in that mind frame, they'll book in a call and they'll probably buy from you, right? But it was all stemmed from free value content. Super important. And as I say, that's the point at which once they are in this mind frame, that is the point at which the prospect will book a demo and potentially become a client. Okay. Step 3 here is to flood calendar with qualified book calls, right? So number 1, we want to leverage audience and content. So you can now start to see why the steps and the order of these steps are so important, because now we want to leverage the audience that we've already built and we want to use content to convert that audience into book calls and clients, okay? So the reason a prospect will book in a call with you and buy from you is because they truly believe you are the best or only option to get them to their desired transformation. So you want to use content to nurture your audience and you want to use content to drive your audience to book in a call. So use content to know your audience. So the goal here, right, is to get your audience to the point where they 100% believe that you're the best or only option to get them to their desired transformation. And we do that primarily through content. Okay. And also, as I say, use content to drive your audience to book in a call 2 to 3 times per week. You want to use content to drive your audience to book in a call. Those who are at the stage where they 100% believe that you're the best option will book. And those who don't believe that yet, they won't book. And that's completely fine. But eventually they will as they'll continue to get nurtured. Right? Now, content to use to booking calls. As I said before, DM me the word X to insert desired transformation. So DM me the word scale to scale your business to 100K a month without working an hour more per day, right? Something like that, whatever the desired transformation is for your niche, right? Comment X below and we'll send you this free training. So just on this, the type of content is typically made on stories, right? This type of content where it's like DM me the word this to achieve desired transformation. This is typically made on stories after or directly before you've posted client results. So for example, story 1, here are some client results we've gotten this week. Story 2, client result 1, story 3, client result 2, story 4, client result 3, right? Few client results. And then story 5 would be DM me the word X to insert the desired transformation / achieve the same results for yourself. That is how you're going to get the most effective story view to DM rate possible, right? When you back up your claims with results and then say, if you want these same results for your own business or for your own personal life or whatever it may be, just DM me the word X and we'll see if we can make it happen for you, right? As I say, the next one, comment X below and we'll send you the training. So when you've made a new piece of value content, always make a post on your socials, such as just created a new training on covering, again, desired transformations, sub-transformations. Comment the word me below and I'll shoot it your way, right? And then from here in the DMs, not only can you start a conversation by initiating with the free training, it's a really good way to open up a conversation. Be like, hey, seen you commented on the post, here's the link. And then from there, you can, as I say here, you can eventually work that conversation into a booked call. But if you've built your value content correctly as well, the value content should sell the book call and have a CTA on the value training page itself. Right? So everything's optimized around booking a call, okay? And then the third type of content piece to use is a results-backed push for the book call. So we don't need to get fancy, right? Typically your audience just needs a little nudge and they'll be over the line, right? Booked in a call. And so we can do simple CTAs to a booked call with evidence backing our claim. So for example, I used to be in the SMMA space, and this is kind of like an approach that I would use to sell scaleClients.io, right? Which is SMMA is dead. Stop doing what you're doing and adapt to the new 2022 methods and scale to 40K per month in the next 90 days or less. You know, Jasmine, for example, was in your exact same position. She was trying to make her SMMA work, but couldn't. So she took the plunge and joined ScaleClients.io. And now she's hitting consistent 50K months in her business. Book in a call below to break the dry spell in your biz and have more cash than you've ever had, right? That's a really good results-backed push for the book call, okay? Next is to build an appointment setting DM system. So the DM system looks like this, right? Initial touch point to conversation started should be operating at around a 50% conversion rate, right? Conversation started to booked call should be around a 20% conversion rate. Booked call to sales call should be an 80% conversion rate, and then sales call to client should be a 30% conversion rate. Right? Now, your appointment setting system should run off of these KPIs. These are really the perfect KPIs to be optimizing for in the DM system, right? Now, if you're not meeting those KPIs, you need to re-optimize your book call system. Either number one, your content isn't valuable enough, so people don't see you as the best option, right? If somebody truly understands and truly realizes that you are the best option in the marketplace for them to achieve their desired transformation, and that desired transformation is one that they genuinely, deeply want, they will book in a call and they will buy from you. It's as simple as that. There's no other reason why they wouldn't. Unless they don't have the funds. But then that's a quality issue, not necessarily your DM system issue, right? Another reason could be that your DM scripts don't do their job of converting a prospect, right? Maybe they don't sell the call enough. It's too salesy. It doesn't focus on the desired transformation. It doesn't connect on a personal level, right? Or your offer or your solution just isn't enticing enough and nobody buys anyway, right? But this should not be the issue, as you should not be at this point in the process if your offer/solution isn't enticing enough, because remember, we've validated this problem up here, right? We've found the proof of concept. We've ensured we've got a strong proof of concept. That's why we've moved forward, okay? Next is outbound prospect. So locking in a solid outbound prospecting funnel, typically done through email, is a very powerful play. It becomes a predictable system to book calls, as you'll know, for every 100 messages you send, for example, you can book X calls, and for every X calls taken, you can sign X clients. That's a very, very predictable place to be at in your outbound prospecting. And when you get your outbound prospecting locked in, that's exactly what it is like. I know for every 200 emails I send, I can book in 15 calls. For every 10 calls I take, I sign one client. So in that case, I would sign 1 to 2 clients for my business if I just send 200 messages, 200 emails, right? Whatever it is. Now, the outbound prospecting funnel KPIs is open percentage should be around 75%, response percent should be around 10%, and the book call percent should be around 2%, okay? These are the KPIs that you want to optimize for. Now, few keys with outbound prospecting, okay? Ensure you have good and clean data. There's no point sending emails to data that just either number one isn't your ideal client, and number two, if the data, your emails are going into spam, or your emails are bouncing, at that point, it's not good and clean data, and you're just never going to be successful with outbound prospecting, right? Next is to use outbound prospecting to build an audience and then leverage, okay? Don't just rely on a 4-part email sequence. Because again, going back to what I was saying before, you do not exert the right amount of energy onto the prospect if you just rely on a 4-part email sequence. You need to get this audience into your, you need to get the prospects you're reaching out to via email, you need to get them into your audience so that you can then nurture them over a longer period of time than just 4 emails, okay? Next is to use content as your conversion mechanism, not the email, right? Use the email as a means of capturing attention and diverting that attention to the content. The email is not a conversion mechanism. It's just a way of capturing attention. Once you've caught the attention by virtue of the email, then send that traffic to content, which actually acts as the conversion mechanism, which will then convert them into a book call. The email doesn't do that, okay? And finally, retarget audience with paid ads. So the audiences you've built on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, pixel data, etc., must be retargeted with effective ads. We're currently booking in calls for $10 to $20 per book call through our retargeting, right? You can see here. This is our ScaleClients.io ad account. This is one of our retargeting ad sets. You can see we had 6 calls booked in, 5 days at $13 per book call. Right? Retargeting ads are such an easy way to generate cheap book calls, okay? This adds more touch points to your audience and acts as an extra nurturing mechanism, and we can drive more eyes to our value content and our FB group, right? Our Facebook group. The more eyes you get on your conversion mechanism, right? Value content, Facebook group, right? Because your Facebook group is also a conversion mechanism. The more calls that you'll book and the more clients you'll sign. It's as simple as that. And retargeting ads are an easy way to get more eyes on your conversion mechanisms, right? Retargeting your audience can start at as little as $10 per day, depending on the audience you can retarget, okay? And typically in our retargeting ads, we'll push traffic to new value content, right? So right now we're sending traffic to here, right? And we're also sending it to here as of right now at the point of recording this at least. This is a piece of value content, how to go from 0 to 40K a month in the next 90 days or less, even if you don't currently have an offer or a business model, kind of walking through this flow diagram. And the other piece of content we're sending traffic to is this right here, how to scale from 0 to 40K a month by finding product market fit without SMMA or coaching, because SMMA and coaching are terms that my audience really resonate with. So I'm saying without SMA or coaching, you can still hit 40K a month by finding product market fit. And I walk through a asset that I pulled actually directly out of our ScaleClients.io flagship program, right? And the other place that we send traffic to is your Facebook group as well. Now, usually this is done by virtue of hyping up a resource, asset, or training, right, etc., that can only be accessed if they join the group. So it's like, hey, we've got this super valuable thing that I gave to all of our members in our free Facebook group. Go ahead, join the group and get access to that valuable thing, implement it for your business, right? Whatever it is. That gets a lot of people to join your group, or at least request to join your group, and then you obviously want to qualify that they're actually a good fit, and if they are, accept them, and there's a new group member, okay? Now, retarget. These are the audiences that we typically look at to retarget. Instagram engages 365 days, in the last 365 days. Facebook engages 365, right? Pixel data 180, so everybody who's landed on your website and have been pixeled, right, in the last 180 days. And then also any additional custom audiences, for example, email lists, right? Just retarget everyone. Okay, so now we move on to step 4, right? So scale sales system with inside sales team. This is how we now really start to ramp up. And this is the point where you'll start to see, 40, 50, 60K months. And it's also really what you can use to scale to 100K a month and beyond. Okay, so build sales process and script. So what you want to do is you want to write your sales process and script, right? So always use a script so that you can duplicate successful sales calls consistently, and so you can ramp new sales reps efficiently and effortlessly. Okay, scripts, documenting is so important, because as I say, you can duplicate successful sales calls over and over and over again. If you build a proven system and you've just scripted it all down, just duplicate successful sales calls, right? And also it's a very easy and efficient way to ramp new sales reps, which is something that we'll get onto further here in a moment, okay? Next, you wanna test that script on 15 to 30 calls, okay? So ensure sales calls taken obviously are with qualified prospects who can actually move forward with your offer. Don't make the mistake of testing your sales process on unqualified prospects, as it will skew results and you'll be making decisions based on false negatives, okay? Now, based off of these 15 to 30 test calls, ensure that your conversion rate is 30% or above, give or take a few percent, okay? And this is obviously based on the initial test. Your conversion rate should be, as I say, around 30% from sales call taken to client signed, right? 30%. And then what you wanna do, if it's not 30%, or you feel as though you can make it even higher, then what you want to do is you want to refine and re-optimize based on the data pulled from clients. So once you've had a few at-bats, meaning you've had your your 15 to 30 test calls, once you've had a few at-bats with your new sales process, refine and optimize based on the real life data pulled from the calls. Rewatch the recordings, okay? So make sure you're recording every single sales call you take, because there's no better training material than live examples, right? So rewatch your call recordings, understand why you did and why you didn't close the sale, figure out what makes people in your niche close and what turns them off, and rework your script around those findings. Okay, so then retest, take another 15 to 30 sales calls, and further refine and re-optimize. Just go back through this loop here, right? And just build an extremely powerful sales process and script. Obviously, inside of the ScaleClients.io program, we give all of our customers and our clients our proven script, right? But if you want to go at this on your own, just do this loop right here, okay? And you will eventually, it may take you a few months, right? But you will eventually get to a script, get to a process, get to a sales process that converts at 30% or above on call, which is really what we're trying to optimize for here. From here, once you've found that sales process, you then want to install an appointment setter. Now, installing a full-time appointment setter is one of the most valuable positions that you can actually hire in your company, right? Whether you believe that or not, but that might sound crazy, but truly it is one of the most valuable positions that you can fill in your company. It took us literally black and white. It took us from 1 to 3 calls a day to 10 to 15 calls per day from one appointment setter. Just one appointment setter took us from 1 to 3 calls a day to 10 to 15 calls a day, right? You can see here, this is a screenshot taken out of our Calendly, right? Now, when to install an appointment setter? Well, number one, when you found product market fit and built a proof of concept, okay? Appointment setter will not be able to generate you calls if you don't have an offer that your niche like just is super, super excited over. And if you're not solving valuable problems for that niche, if you don't have product market fit, if you haven't validated the problem, do not install an appointment setter because they won't be able to magically generate calls for you. It's just not going to happen. Next is also hitting consistent 10K months. So this kind of further refines that you have truly built a proof of concept. And also you're already generating 1 to 3 calls per day minimum. That's the point at which to install an appointment setter. You cannot expect an appointment setter to come into your business and start generating calls for you if you're not already doing it yourself, right? The appointment setter should come in and scale an already proven operation, not necessarily create that operation. It should already be created and they just scale it, right? If you're booking in 1 to 3 calls a day minimum at the moment, then you've got an operation that is proven, that works, right? You're booking in anywhere from 30 to 90 calls a month. That's a good operation. Now you can get the appointment setter to come in and scale that up. That's exactly, as I say, what we did, right? I got to 1 to 3 calls a day, and then I installed an appointment setter who then took us from 1 to 3 to 10 to 15 calls a day. Now, the job role of a setter is simply the following. This is the job role, and this is pretty much how their day would look like as well, right? Like this is the daily flow of an appointment setter, right? Number one, follow up with prospects who booked in but didn't show or close. Okay, so booked in a call with you, and they either didn't show up to the call or the call was taken, but they didn't close for whatever reason. Follow up with those prospects. Handle all the DM conversations, right, on platforms that you operate on. So typically it's going to be Instagram and Facebook, right? So they handle all the DM conversations. Then they want to touch base with those who have had a call in the past but just didn't convert for whatever reason. Also handle everyone who's took action on the action-based content. So if they've DM'd the word X, they've commented X on the stories, on your posts, they voted on a story poll, right? So like, for example, I'm in, or send me more info, etc. If you do a poll on your story and you have those options, if they say, yeah, I'm in, I want to move forward with this, then they would reach out to all of those people as well. Conduct the outbound DM system, and also send outbound friend requests to ideal prospects to drum up their own leads as well if they have a slow day, okay? Next is to hire a sales rep and ramp, okay? So after hiring an appointment setter, your calendar will get filled every single day. Now, it's important to wait until the point at which you're spending 70 to 80% of your time on sales calls to install a rep into your organization. So typically, your sales rep will be your first appointment setter. This is who my current head of sales, he started off with me as an appointment setter, okay? So this is kind of the flow that I personally take, and I've took for all of my current team members, and I continue to take for new hires that I make. I hire an appointment setter to fill the calendar. Calendar gets filled up, and you're spending 70 to 80% of your time on sales calls. Promote appointment setter into a setter/closer role. So they're doing 50% setting and they're doing 50% closing. Then what you want to do is you want to split the calls 90-10 in your favor initially to ensure the rep can ramp without being thrown too much in the deep end. So you're still taking 90% of the calls when you promote the setter. Or even if you don't promote the setter, it's just a new closer, a new sales rep that you bring on board, it's fine. When they start though, make sure it's that you're still taking 90% of the calls and you give them 10% of the calls, or you give them 1 call per day if you don't have enough volume for a 90-10 split. Okay. Now, if calls taken by rep are being closed, transition to a 50-50 split between you and the rep. So 50% of the calls you take, 50% of the calls the rep takes. And at this point, the rep is still setting and closing, okay? And then from there, once the rep starts to perform consistently at the same level that you do, meaning the close rate, right? Once they start to close consistently at the level that you close at, transition them into a 100% closer, right? So they're a 100% sales rep. All they sit down and they take calls, right? So they're not setting anymore. And then from there, obviously now you don't have a setter. So now we want to install a new setter. And as you scale and you need more sales reps, rinse and repeat the above process. So you've installed a new setter. When you need another sales rep, you go back here, right? Calendar gets filled. You then promote the setter into a rep, etc., and you go back through that and you rinse and repeat that process, right? Now, ramping sales reps efficiently and effectively. Number one, give access to ScaleClients.io content, right? So give the reps access to the ScaleClients.io content. If you're inside the program, give them access because it's that'll ramp them up quicker than anything else, right? And they'll become an absolute savage on the phone, okay? And also any internal company training that you have, typically it will be video training, right? And provide access to 15 to 20 sales calls that you've taken. And make sure that those 15 to 20 sales calls, if you do 20 sales calls that you give them access to review and watch and whatnot, make sure that 10 of them, so 50-50 split, 10 of them are successful and 10 of them are unsuccessful. It's important that they see unsuccessful sales calls just as much as they see successful sales calls, right? Because then again, they can understand why somebody closes and they can also understand why somebody doesn't close. It's important to know both. And then from there, review every single one of your reps' first 10 calls and provide constructive feedback on each call, what they could have done better, what they did well, what you would have done differently in that situation, etc., right? And then from there, continually provide feedback and coaching, okay? And job role of the sales rep, pretty simple. Check Calendly for upcoming events that day and manually reach out to each prospect. Take the calls scheduled. Ensure CRM is clean and necessary follow-ups are made. Inform setters of any no-shows, no closes, and also how the quality of calls was. This can help the setter refine their messaging to increase quality if it becomes an issue, right? When they're booking in the calls. And then finally, check calendar for tomorrow's calls and make any necessary follow-ups for tomorrow's calls. And the next day they wake up and they do the same thing again, right? That is the job role, the day structure of sales reps. Now, next is building a system, a sales system to perform at scale between the setter and the rep. I'm not going to explain this in detail in this doc here because that is super in detail, it's super in depth, and it's really only saved for ScaleClients.io customers, but that is the next step at that point, so that then you have a system that repeatably and consistently performs at scale between the setter and the reps, or the setters and the sales reps, okay? And this is really how you scale to 100K a month and beyond, okay? Now, finally, step 5, productize business, which is primarily meaning the mechanism, and scale to 100K a month by increasing traffic and building a full-fledged team. So, number 1, ensure the offer scales. Market and mechanism. This is so important. Ensure offer scales, market and mechanism. What I mean by that is, number 1, scalability of offer through the lens of market size and efficiency of mechanism. Typically, market size of offer isn't going to be an issue going from 0 to 40K a month. If it will be an issue, it'll be evident once you're at 100K a month and beyond, right? Sometimes it may only be evident once you're at 250K a month, 500K a month, right? And at which point you either need to go down the awareness stream or serve a broader segment of the market. So for example, going down the awareness stream. So there is, in your niche, there is going to be stages of awareness. There's going to be unaware, there's going to be problem aware, solution aware, product aware, and then there's going to be most aware, right? And I'm not going to explain these in depth. Again, that's what we go through in ScaleClients.io. But if you initially ramped to 100K a month by virtue of serving the solution aware market, right, which is really what the market that you want to start with, right, because it's always going to be the most profitable segment of the market, and it's going to be it's like the fine line between the most profitable and also it's going to be quite sizable, so you can scale to 100K a month. Typically, with prospects who are in most aware, it's such a small market, they're going to be profitable, right, because you're going to be able to close pretty much every single person in this market. But you're not going to be able to scale because it's such a small market and there's such few people in there. Whereas solution aware, there's a fine line and it's a healthy median, right? So it's always the most profitable segment to start with. So if you did, start in there and you ramp to 100K a month by serving the solution aware market, going down the awareness stream would mean that you then enter the problem aware segment. So you would go further downstream. So you go now into the problem aware segment, right? And you can see by virtue of this triangle, the problem aware market or segment is much larger than the solution aware is, right? Now this would require completely different marketing and messaging because it's somebody who's in a completely different stage of awareness. So you need to speak to them entirely different. However, the problem aware market is far bigger than the solution aware market, which would mean you have solved your cap market issue, okay? So that's in the case of market size being capped, okay? And the offer doesn't scale because you've hit everybody in your market. But again, typically you're not gonna experience that until you're at 100,000, 200,000, 500,000 a month, maybe even a million a month, right? More commonly, what you'll face is an efficiency of mechanism issue, right? That will cap your offer scalability because you physically can't sign on any more than X clients due to the delivery having a cap, right? Because your mechanism is not scalable, right? It's not efficient. So a really good example of this is typical agency business models, right? Because typical agency business models experience this issue once 100,000 a month is hit, typically around that mark. And trust me, I know because I've done this. Right? And so this is why now agencies are transitioning into a more leveraged, and this is exactly what we go through in ScaleClients.io. Agencies are now transitioning into a more leveraged consulting structure that has a far more scalable mechanism than a done-for-you one-on-one agency model, which is the typical agency model, right? So for example, instead of a done-for-you one-on-one service tailored to each client, which is the typical agency business model, you can rebuild that mechanism into a leveraged consulting structure, which would be similar to the following. So help client build an in-house team or use their current in-house team if they've already got one. Build a mechanism that transfers knowledge, SOPs, systems, workflows, etc. to the in-house team in a do-it-yourself or done-with-you format. Typically, this is going to be through videos, right? Because that's an extremely scalable mechanism, right? Of videos, right? You just sit down, build it once, and then you can just send it out to as many people as you want, and there's no extra work associated to that. So again, remember, we're rebuilding this because the offer is capped at a certain scale. So we're like, okay, how can we take this mechanism of the done-for-you structure and rebuild it in a more scalable format? Well, this is one way to do it, right? So yeah, build mechanism that transfers knowledge, SOPs, systems, workflows, etc. to the in-house team that you either build or the in-house team that the client already has. Have a done-with-you support structure, typically through Slack and calls if necessary, right? Have a monthly/quarterly check-in with the team to ensure results are being delivered, right? With this team up here. And then from there, you can literally structure this offer as a 12-month contract, which at the end of the 12 months, they will have a fully operating in-house team, right? Who, by the way, the company only pays them a normal monthly salary as opposed to extortionate monthly agency fees. And this in-house team delivers X per month in profit by virtue of this system, whatever that system is. Instead of you implementing that system in a done-for-you format, you've just transferred that to the in-house team that you've built by virtue of a very scalable mechanism, right? And now, instead of the company paying you an extortionate monthly fee, agency fee, which is a big issue right now in the space, right? Agency fees and whatnot. The company just pays this team a normal salary because they're employees, but this team now is operating in accordance with the deliverables and the systems and the workflows, etc. that you would implement on yourself, right? And you can literally price this offer at anywhere from like 25,000 to 100,000 for the 12-month contract, right? So you're basically delivering the same transformation. The desired transformation in both instances are going to be near enough exactly the same, right? Because the in-house team is going to be delivering X per month in profit, and if it's the same system that you would implement on, then you're going to be delivering a similar number per month in profit. But the way in which you deliver that desired transformation in this case is wildly different to you doing just a typical done-for-you structure. And this structure here is far more scalable, right? The mechanism is far more scalable than you and your team doing the ads or doing the service one-on-one for the client. But the desired transformation is the same. That's a perfect example of how you can switch from a typical done-for-you one-on-one agency business model into a more leveraged consulting structure. And on top of that, it's going to be far more scalable. So as I say, that's an example of restructuring your mechanism so that the same desired transformation is made for your clients, but the way in which you deliver it is more scalable on your end. And so guess what we've just done there? We have just solved the efficiency of mechanism issue, which was capping our scale. And so now we've solved that and we can now scale to a higher height. Done, right? Next is automate delivery of mechanism. So I always look at this in the light of eliminate, automate, delegate. You've probably heard this before, right? Eliminate, automate, delegate. But I want to explain how this applies directly to your mechanism. So number one, eliminate. So the worst thing you can have in your business is drag, right? On a small scale, drag won't be an issue as you won't feel it, right? However, as you start to scale, the hyper 1% optimizations become vital, and any drag evident in your business will hamper your top speed and ultimately cap your scale, right? If you're, here, think about, for example, think drag on a Toyota Camry going 50 kilometers an hour versus drag on an F1 car going 300 kilometers an hour and its effects, right? It's going to be wildly different. And so, at a small scale, 50 kilometers an hour in a Toyota Camry, drag's not really going to impact you. But as you start to scale, to 100K a month, 200K a month, 500K a month, you're going to become that F1 car going 300 kilometers an hour, and drag on that is going to be far more impactful. And really, fat plus inefficiency equals drag. right? Fat plus inefficiency, this is obviously in a business sense. Fat plus inefficiency equals drag in a business sense. And drag by definition is a force acting opposite to the relative motion of any object. So if you have fat and inefficiency in your company, it's basically it's a force operating against the route that you want to go. And so it's massively going to slow you down, right? And it's massively going to cap your scale as well. And so any fat or inefficiency in your business must be eliminated immediately. This requires you to analyze your business, primarily your mechanism, with a fine-tooth comb, right? And really identify what actions, inputs, and deliverables are actually generating you the results. Most of the time, you may have 10 deliverables, but it's really only 2 or 3 of those deliverables that are, generating the 80%, the 90% of results that your clients are achieving. And the remaining, 7, 6, 5, 8 deliverables that you're currently offering, they're only delivering either no value at all, or they're only delivering maybe 5%, right, of the results. And so what that is fat. That's inefficiency. And really it's producing drag. And so they must be eliminated immediately, right? Everything else must be eliminated. As I say, you want to identify what's actually generating you the results, and everything else must be eliminated as they are inefficiencies and they have no value. Thus, they are causing drag right now, and it's going to hamper you at scale. Eliminating variables also helps tremendously when it comes to maintaining a profitable business model. If you can strip back, typically that's going to strip back your costs. And if you can strip back your costs, it's going to enable you to, as I say, sustain that profitable model at scale. Next is automate. So processes, workflows, actions, inputs, etc. that are being made consistently, right, by either yourself or your team, typically can be automated through the use of Zapier or the sort. So Zapier is a really powerful tool, and it's basically how you can connect all of your apps that you're using, all of the softwares that you're currently using, and you can just automate all of your workflows. Okay, and so as I say, any processes, workflows, actions, inputs, whatever it is that you're doing consistently on a daily basis, typically you can automate it through the use of Zapier or something of the sort, right? But typically Zapier is the best one on the market. Now, if it can't be eliminated because it's a variable that has a direct impact on your client's desired transformation, right, being achieved, then you must next ask yourself the question of whether it can be automated. So we always want to look at everything through the elimination lens first, and if it can't be eliminated, then we look at it through the automated lens. So it's like, okay, it can't be eliminated, but can it be automated, right? Elimination is best. Next best is automation. Okay, automation is cheaper than delegation. So not only does it reduce fat, but again, it massively helps to sustain a profitable business model at scale. Okay, and then finally we have delegation. So elimination is best, next best is automation, and if the variable can't be eliminated nor automated, then you must delegate it by hiring for that position. Okay, so common positions to hire for, typically appointment setting, right? So the human interaction can never be automated. Sales reps, media buying, right? The copy and creative are what generates the results in advertising, not the media buying behind the scenes. So there is a lot of automated softwares out there that you can use for advertising and media buying, but they only automate the buttons in the back end, right? The clicks that you make in the back end, the ad sets that you create, but that's not where results come from in advertising, right? The advertising doesn't come from the media buying. The results in advertising don't come from the media buying. It comes from the copy and the creative, right? And no automation can replicate what a good advertiser can do on the copy and creative front. So typically you would need to hire for this position. Head coaches as well, right? Client success managers, etc. These are common positions to hire for, right? And again, everything else must either be eliminated or automated. Now, hire where it hurts. So in light of step 5.2, so step 5 being this one, and then 2 being automate delivery of mechanism, right? In light of step 5.2, we must use hiring and delegation as a last resort when it comes to automating our business and structuring it in a way that is scalable. Must be the last resort, right? The reason we eliminate, automate, then delegate is because that's the point at which you'll start to hurt in that area. Hiring unnecessarily for job roles that could have been eliminated or automated will cause drag, and now you know what the causes or what the effects are of drag at scale, right? So before you make your hiring decision, however, you must look internally and analyze whether you could be more resourceful at your current bandwidth. For example, what I mean by this is, I often see people making additional hires for variables that need to be solved and that cannot be eliminated or automated. And so that, based on step 5.2, that sounds like it's the right decision, right? You've looked, can I eliminate it? No. Can I automate it? No. Okay, I need to hire for it. Yes. However, that same founder may also, and again, this is just an example, but that same founder also has a team who individually are only operating at 60%. So the moment they make another hire for the variable they need fixing, they'll add in drag because they are not being resourceful and they don't actually hurt in that specific area. And so resourcefulness as a company value is key to scale, as it's a surefire way to decrease drag. So you must only ever hire where it truly, truly hurts, right? And finally, we have increased volume of organic and introduced paid traffic funnels. So by this point in the process, you should be well and truly past 40,000 a month, nearing 50,000 a month, right? So you should be around 40 to 50,000 a month at this point in the process, right? You should also have a strong proof of concept, an offer that your market cannot resist, an efficient mechanism that delivers the desired transformation effectively at scale, no operational drag, right? It would be great if I could spell operational, right? No operational drag, and a highly efficient team in place where necessary. And as I say, you should be at around 40 to 50K per month minimum. Now all you need to do to scale to 100K a month, once these few variables here are in place, all you now need to do to scale to 100K a month and beyond is number one, get more traffic, right? And by extension, you naturally get more eyeballs on your offer. Number two, maintain conversion rates on a higher volume of prospects, right? And number three, maintain delivery of transformation as more clients come on board. Again, as I said before, the number one metric you ought to be tracking in your business is client results. And so if you cannot maintain the delivery of your desired transformation for your clients at scale as more clients come on board, right? You need to re-optimize the delivery of your mechanism, right? You need to re-optimize your mechanism overall, right? Because if you cannot continue to deliver the desired transformation to your clients at scale, right? I promise you, you will not be able to maintain that scale for a period of time. You may, increase to, 500K 1 month, but if that in that month, all of your client results, just for lack of better words, go to shit, right? Well, the next month, you're not going to be at 500K a month again. You're going to dip right back down to maybe 50 or 100K a month, 200K a month if you're lucky. So client results is the number one metric. And so the third thing that you need to ensure that is there is, as I say, maintaining delivery of desired transformation as more clients come on board. But if you do number two and number three, you're able to maintain these two important metrics, well then at that point, getting more traffic and consequently more eyeballs on your offer is the key to scale at this point. You just need to get more traffic. You just need to get more eyeballs on this offer that is an offer that your market cannot resist. So you just need to get more of your market to see your offer. That's it. It's as simple as that. And so let's look at doing that by virtue of organic first, and then we'll get into paid advertising. So organic, you want to, number one, start influencer marketing, if applicable to your niche on Instagram, in order to scale your organic following and by extension, organic traffic, right? The goal here is to inject more ideal clients into your already proven organic marketing system that you've curated over the last 1 to 3 months. And the best way to do this is by virtue of influencer marketing on Instagram specifically. You just cannot grow organically on Instagram. It's very, very difficult. I would nearly say it's impossible to grow organically on Instagram. So you need to start to do paid influencer marketing. So this is basically the structure that we're currently implementing, right? Number one, find the highest affinity pages on Instagram to your niche, right? So like the, pages with like 500,000 followers, 1 million followers, a couple mil followers. Find the highest pages of that nature that have the highest affinity to your niche on Instagram. Reach out to them and ask for a shout out or a promotion, right? And then use engaging ads. We've typically found that tweet style ads, tweet style creatives are doing the best at the moment, okay? And then in the ad copy, provide a small brief on yourself and tell the audience to follow you. Okay, and then what you want to do is obviously get the influencer page to post for however many hours. Maybe you do, $100 for a 12-hour post or a 24-hour post. So then you get them to make that post for however many hours you paid for, and then you want to rinse and repeat every day or every week / month, depending on whatever your budget is. So again, if we come back to Instagram, it's been 40 minutes since we last refreshed. So you'll see that we're going hard on this influencer strategy. So 17.4 thousand. You can see now we're at 17.7 thousand, right? And these are all obviously all real people. There's no point filling your audience with, fake accounts or whatever, because at the end of the day, this number here, who cares if you've got 500,000 followers? It is irrelevant if you're not making any money from it. So the key is to grow your audience with qualified prospects and people in your industry, in your niche, in your market, because at that point you can then use your content to nurture them. You can't nurture somebody who's just either completely broke, doesn't have any money to invest, or is just not even in your niche. You can't nurture that person, right? So that's the key. Now, this is the best way I prefer. This is the way, that I prefer, which is paid advertising, right? To increase your traffic and eyeballs to your offer. The second way to start ramping volume and traffic to your audience and offer is by virtue of paid advertising, which is my favorite approach. Typically on cold, right? You're going to be wanting to push traffic to your Facebook group by advertising a free ebook, a free course, an SOP, a workflow, a training, whatever it may be, just anything that your specific niche would find highly, highly, highly valuable, right? For example, this doc right here is something that we're pushing cold paid traffic to right now. And this is a highly, highly, highly valuable doc, right? I've held nothing back in this document to make it extremely valuable. And that's why it's working so well on cold, right? And if they join your group, they'll get immediate access to the asset. So again, that's how we do it. We hype it up inside the group. We've got this super, super, super valuable thing that you'll absolutely love if you're, in X niche. We've got this super valuable thing. Go ahead, join the group, and we'll give you access to it. That's how you get people to join on paid advertising. And then, as I say, once they've joined your group, they are now in your audience, and you can now nurture them and turn them into a high-paying client. It's as simple as that, right? And if your ads are effective, you should expect to pay anywhere from $15 to $30 per new group member, depending on your industry, depending on your niche, and depending on the quality of prospect that you're going after. But expect to pay anywhere from $15 to $20 per new group member. And if you have an effective group member to paid client system, right? Which again, if you join scaleclients.io, you get this system just imported directly into your business. But if you have that group member to paid client system down packed, and you're paying $15 to $30 per new group member, you're going to be wildly profitable, especially if you have a high ticket offer, which again is what we help you build out in the scaleclients.io program. Okay, and you can also create a highly effective sales letter, right? Similar to this thesis that you're reading, and push the cold traffic to consume as well. Again, the idea is that you want to nurture cold traffic from the get-go and provide a high amount of value up front. Okay, remember, again, think about those touch points, think about those nurture mechanisms that we ought to be implementing, and think about the amount of energy that needs to be exerted on cold prospects in order to convert them into a high paying client. Now, I want to finish off on this, right? The keys to cracking the code on cold advertising. So number one, solve a problem that is a threat level 1 issue for a particular niche. Okay, you're not going to be able to be highly profitable on cold advertising if you're just talking about something, a problem, whatever it is that nobody cares about. You're just not going to be profitable. You're never going to be able to crack the code on cold advertising, right? So that's the first thing. Next, you want to back up your claims with evidence which proves your point beyond a reasonable doubt. Meaning, whatever the problem is that you're saying that you're solving, whatever the threat level 1 issue is you're saying that you're solving, that's a claim, and you want to be able to back that up with client results, right? Provide insights into how your clients are currently achieving the desired transformation through an asset of some kind. Again, an ebook, a sales letter, a VSL, a free course, a training, a thesis, which is this, right? Once you've given value upfront, provide the prospect with an opportunity to book in a call with you so that they can then achieve the same desired transformation in their business or in their life. And if they don't book in right away, that's completely fine. Again, some people need more convincing than others. This is why you want to ensure that you're always building an audience so that you can then continue to nurture that, each and every prospect until they have the belief that you are the best or only option, and at which point they'll be ready to buy. And for some, that'll be, for some that'll be the same day, and others it may take 12 months. And guys, that is it. That is how you can scale to 100,000 a month in the quickest, most efficient, and most profitable and effective time frame possible. That is it. Now, I want to go through step 6, which is making this a reality for you. So theory and reality are extremely different. While this thesis showed you the step-by-step process that you ought to take to go from 0 to 40K per month and then to 100K per month and beyond, going out in the marketplace and actually executing on this will be, and I'll be honest, it will be extremely tough without the correct guidance. Right? I've personally spent over $200,000 of my own money and 3 years of my life learning every intricate detail there is behind this business model, and I've made a lot of costly mistakes in the process. So you can simply use the broad overview that I've provided in this short thesis to try and scale your business on your own, or you can work one-on-one with myself personally and my team, by the way, my team also runs their own 100,000 a month operations, right? 150,000 a month operations, 50,000 a month operations. I've got the best team on the market, right? It's not just like some random team member that I've pulled from some random place who's never done this before themselves. They are actively running their own 50, 100, 150,000 a month operations, and they simply are on my team because they love the fulfillment that they get out of helping our customers get better results. They're not in it for the money, they're in it for the fulfillment side of things, because as I say, they're already running their own highly successful operations in a variety of different niches, but they've also built those operations off the back of this 5-step framework, right? So as I say, you can literally work one-on-one with myself personally and my team, where we'll ensure that we scale you from wherever you're currently at to 40,000 a month and then to 100,000 a month and beyond. So go ahead, book in a call. You'll be able to book in a call right below this video to get this implemented into your own business as soon as possible. Also, go ahead, please feel free to join our free Scale Clients community on Facebook, where I'll share deeper end-to-end trainings, insights, resources, and tools on the 5-step system that we've covered in this thesis. You can join here, which again is just this group right here. Okay, as you can see, we also share highly valuable assets inside of here, for example, here and here, for example, right? So guys, I deeply hope that this was useful. Please go ahead, book in a call right below this video to speak with a member from my team, and we'll get you inside the ScaleClients.io program, because truly, it is the best thing on the market. And if you're at 0 right now, you're at 50,000 a month, you're at 100,000 a month, and you want to scale to the next level, right? We're currently sat at around 250,000 a month right now. And truly, myself and my team are the best on the market. That's not me having an ego. That is coming directly from my customers' mouths. They tell us this, right? My customers, you know, we got a lot of customers who are in all of the programs out there, and they routinely tell me that it's the best thing on the market. And also our customer results speak for themselves. So go ahead, click the link below, book in a call, and I'm extremely excited to chat with you extremely soon. And I hope, as always, you found value in this training.